Hannibal! This is episode 5 of season 3 of Hannibal, and it is titled, give me a second, Contorno? Let's go with that. Hannibal. Let's do it.
Hannibal would burn all kinds of barks and incense for me to identify by scent alone.
It's a boring game. Will, you're getting creepy.
Some of those snails survive digestion.
That's gross. I am all about snails. He really did string that guy up, didn't he? Whoa. Hannibal shirtless. I approve of this message. Aww. Dumping out ashes, while it is like a touching sentiment, weirds me out. What if that goes in your mouth? You're gonna throw your ring in, aren't you? Don't do that. You're gonna regret that. How could you ever eat food someone else gave you again after hanging out with Lecter?
How do you taste, Dr. Bowles?
None of your business.
Yeah, I bet. I'm sure you got a taste of him, too. Spitters are quitters, and they don't strike me as a quitter.
That is the best line. I love how they got away with saying that. I have always wanted to ride in a sleeper car train. It seems like the coolest thing ever. It's so some like it hot. Shirtless Will. You have the monster of Florence in front of you. Just shoot him in the face and sort it out later. Everyone's so coy in this show. Seriously, you know it's Hannibal. Just kill him. People are missing their chances. Although I don't want Hannibal to die, but come on. In these other countries, is it so backward that they all have to use payphones? Is it the 50s in these countries? I mean, if you're gonna kill a mass murderer, get some money out of it. There was just a bunch of coins on top of that payphone. Can anyone take them? Hannibal is so well-rounded. He's a good artist. He can play some good music. Amazing cook. He's just like husband material. Ugh. I don't want to wake up to dreams that are dripping blood on my face. He's got a nice back. Everyone just wants to jump on Will, and I don't blame them, but just, why now? I mean, trains really do it for her, apparently. Oh, you got pushed off a train, son. Oh, he did a cool backflip off the train. Now get off those tracks before another train comes. Is that Swiggity Swag? Swiggity! Follow that stag.
You would be selling him into torture and death.
Full disclosure, torture and death. That was like a very, very clean webcam. It was like watching HD. I can't even FaceTime without it skipping. What are you gonna do, steal his knife and have him not notice it?
Hanging outside the classroom.
Huh. It's like the most coolest threat ever. It's like a history lesson and a threat.
On a related subject, I must confess. I've been giving very serious thought to do the same.
Oh, gonna get ya! Like, really, what did he think the outcome was gonna be? It's Hannibal Lecter.
He said he would be home by now.
Jack's like, oh, he's dead.
I haven't had a bite all day.
My name is Alana Bloom.
You don't know me, but I know your benefactor.
Hello, Alana.
What was Alana calling about?
Bowels in or bowels out? Out, I think.
Oh, so good. I love how we're just working our way through the movies at this point. Oh, Jack, your timing's a little off. Why does no one call for backup?
I know. Imagine you were capable of giving any medication Bella may have needed in the night.
Ooh. Just because it's not creepy enough, let's put some music on.
What medication did you give her in the end? Was it too much?
Calling Jack out. Use a gun! Yeah, he sparted him right in the chest! Yes. Got him by the leg. I don't know why guys don't kick in the crotch. Is that like a code of honor among guys? Because I'll kick a dude in the crotch. Jack, you're gonna get killed. You're being careless. Oh. Oh, this is so good. Through all the glass. Just crawl away, Hannibal. Don't let him out of your sight. You let him out of your sight for like 1 second, something bad's gonna happen. Jack is so in charge right now, it is awesome. Ha ha ha. He ain't dead. You're just gonna let him get away. Okay, so this episode opens with Will and that Asian chick whose name I keep forgetting. They're on a train. She talks about how she met Hannibal and they were young and he was already an orphan then. Will starts picking at her about how she never wanted to kill someone, but then she did. And he's like, do you think about it a lot? Weirdo. Then she starts asking him why she thinks he's in Italy, and he's like, here, a postcard, stuff. Then she trails off on this weird story about snails being eaten by birds and birds pooping them out, and the snails have, like, been all over the world. And I'm like, it was a lot more eloquent than how I just put it, but that's what she was talking about. Then it goes to that guy that he strung up and made look like a little firefly, and it was creepy. And slow-mo snails still look really cool, though. And then it cuts to Hannibal and Bedelia, and they're eating snails, talking about how everything kind of plays its part, and people can go against their instincts, but animals don't. Then she's like, you know, Will's coming to kill you, and you're just waiting for Will to come so you can kill him. Then it shows that weird firefly guy hanging up again. Then it shows Jack Crawford on a bridge, and he pours out Bella's ashes, and then he takes off his ring and chucks it in the water, which I'm like, dude, sell that. I mean, if you wanted to, like, honor her and be like, oh, I'm leaving it in Italy with her, leave it at a pawn shop. It's still in Italy, and you get some money out of it. Then he's with Ronaldo Pazzi and his wife, and she's like, oh, you took your ring off. He's like, oh, widower, met her in Italy, she's dead, sad. They toast to her, and then his wife leaves the room. And then Jack and Pazzi start talking, and Jack's like, oh, you're kind of outside of the law right now. You're just kind of just hunting Hannibal to do it. Then it shows Alana Bloom with Mason Verger, and they're looking over, like, stuff that was Hannibal's, because, you know, he likes to collect stuff from Hannibal. She's noting, like, how kind of extravagant his tastes are, and kind of saying, yeah, it's pretty obvious he's got to be in Europe hiding, because that's just the stuff he's into. Then Mason says, like, oh, look at all of his fine taste. He likes this, 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 and he likes you. What do you taste like? Which at that point, I'd slap him, but it was kind of funny. But then he's like, I'm pretty sure you got a taste of Hannibal, too. And he does the spitters or quitters line, which is just hilarious. Then I'm not sure how she even got them, but she has a bunch of receipts to every time that Bedelia would go to the store and buy stuff. The same thing every week. She's like, there's a blonde woman doing this. She's clearly shopping for Hannibal. But it's like, where did you get the receipts? Then Will and that Asian chick are on a sleeper car, and she's like, are we obligated to talk? And he's like, no, but then they proceed to just talk anyway. Basically, it was more of the same. Talking about Hannibal. Not really even saying anything, just like poetry words. Hannibal gave him an experience he wouldn't have gotten otherwise. She doesn't like hearing people talk because it's weird to her because she never hears people talk. Hannibal left her hollow, but Will seems to like being malleable and able to bend to whatever Hannibal wants. Stuff like that. Then Ronaldo Pazzi goes to see Hannibal, who's, you know, pretending to be Dr. Fell. He questions him about the missing people. Hannibal kind of just sidesteps all of it. And then Hannibal's like, Pazzi, aren't you like the famous people, you know, the one that tried to kill that one dude in a church and then got pushed out with his guts hanging out? And he's like, yep, family, that's it. Then they kind of just size each other up, and then Ronaldo leaves. Then Ronaldo later is on his computer, looking at the picture of Hannibal and his, like, wanted poster, and he makes a call asking about the reward. Then it cuts to Hannibal playing the piano, and Bedelia and him are talking. Basically, he's like, yeah, he knows who I am. I've met the guy before. She's like, if he knows who you are, then why are you still here and not arrested? So he's just weighing his options right now, how to proceed, and right now I'm free to just play the piano. Will kind of dreams that blood's dripping on his face, and he looks up and he sees the Asian chick, I think it was her, hanging upside down and dead, and then he actually really wakes up, and he's like, why is she not in the bed? So he goes looking for her. He finds her standing at the very back of the train, just looking out into the night, and she's like, the night's different than the day, it's like a different place altogether, and he's like, we're different at night, and they're just being poetic. But then he's like, why are you looking for Hannibal? And she's like, I don't really need to look for him, I know where he is. And he's like, well, why didn't you tell me you knew where he is? And she was like, there's different things to do besides violence, but that seems to be all that you know. And then she kisses him, and then she pushes him off the train. Then it shows Will do this, like, slow motion backflip off the train and land. The train leaves. He's laying there, but then Swiggity Swag comes and sniffs his head and wakes him up a little bit. He sees Swiggity Swag, the Nightmare Stag, start walking down the tracks, and he just gets himself up. Then it shows Ronaldo is on, like, Skype with Mason Verger and Alana's listening. Mason talks about the whole, like, process of how they're gonna pay him if it is Hannibal and how he'll get an advance if he can prove that he's near Hannibal by means of having a thumbprint or a fingerprint actually on an object, sending the object to them to have them, like, approve this money and confirm that it's Hannibal there. It's involved. Alana walks around, looks at the computer, and is like, just so we're clear, you do know we're gonna torture and kill Hannibal, right? And the guy's like, yeah, no, sure, but you're paying, right? They get off the computer, and Alana's like, yeah, that guy's gonna get killed. So like an idiot, Ronaldo goes to show up to Hannibal, and he's like, hey, I wanted to show you something cool. Look at this mask. It was worn by my ancestor, dude, when he died. Hannibal's like, this is awesome. Let me look at it. Hannibal was like using a knife to cut open some fruit, and so he sets it down, and the guy's like, oh, his fingerprint's gonna be on the knife. I'm gonna steal the knife, which is stupid. Hannibal's like, wait, I want to show you something even cooler. Look at this. It's like a carving of your ancestor hanging outside with his guts out. Isn't this amazing? As Hannibal goes to try to put the thing away, Ronaldo, like, steals the knife, and just then Hannibal comes up behind him and, like, chloroforms him, like, duh. And then it shows Jack Crawford and Ronaldo's wife drinking coffee, and she's like, he should be back by now. That's weird. And Jack's like, oh, that guy's dead. Then it's like a POV shot looking at Hannibal, and he's, like, trying to wake up Ronaldo. He has him on one of those cool, like, dolly things that they will people around in the Hannibal world. He's bound, he's gagged, and he pulls him up to a window and starts tying a noose with what it looked like an electrical cord. Hannibal talks about wanting to eat different parts of his body and how his meat should be stored. He's like, I'm gonna ask you some questions, and how you answer them will determine if I eat you. He starts interrogating him about, like, you know, who is the bounty issued by, things like that. But then his phone starts ringing in his pocket, so Hannibal reaches in, gets out Ronaldo's phone, answers it, and it's Alana. Curious what Alana was even gonna call him about. But he quickly does the whole, yeah, he's a little busy at the moment. Ha ha ha. It's awkward time. Good to talk to you. I'll catch you later. Hangs up on her. Then he's like, so what do you think? Bowels in or bowels out? And he's like, out. And then just like cuts the guy's sternum to groined area, pushes him out the window. He hangs. Guts fall on the ground. It was awesome. A lot like the other movie. Almost like it seemed shot for shot. And then down on the street, you see Jack Crawford has just walked up, looks up and sees Hannibal, and just dashes inside the building to get to him. Hannibal walks back into, like, the main area where they have all their artifacts. He's talking. He doesn't see Jack, but he knows he's there, so he's talking to him. He mentions Bella and says he's actually really sorry, and then starts bringing up about how often he had to give her medication and alluding to, you know, did you just kill her at the end? That kind of gets Jack mad. Regardless of if he actually did that or not, he got mad. So he comes out of the woodworks and just starts laying a smackdown on Hannibal that was glorious. Like, he went full Hulk beast mode and just, like, it was awesome. I wouldn't even call it a fight scene. It was just watching Hannibal get beat up. But, like, before it happens, I think Jack puts on a record, so it's set to really cool, fancy music. Hannibal walks into the other room where the window's open where he just pushed Potsy out. He asks Jack, how are you gonna feel when I'm gone? Jack says, alive, and then just, like, backhands him with this grappling hook thing he's been beating him with. Hannibal falls backwards out the window, but he grabs onto Potsy and he's hanging, so he's, like, not as far from the ground. Then he falls, kind of hits a little hard, but doesn't really injure himself. Then he gets up, looks up at Jack, and then just starts gimping away. He wasn't really walking that fast, seeing as he just got the crap kicked out of him. Jack should have just hurried down there and got him, but that's where the episode ends, so we don't know what happens. So if I forgot anything or left anything out, drop a comment, and if you just want to talk about it, drop a comment. Don't forget to do the things, rate, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys later, so until next time.